A lot of people will be in Ann Arbor for the art fair this weekend, so today for Dine in the D, we thought we would take you to a classic Ann Arbor restaurant.
Now, this has been around for 3 generations, passed down from father to son and father to son again, and now Kit and Michael are running the place. The second and third generation is both a restaurant and a hotel full of history. So today, let's go to Weber's. Our Michelle Oliver has their story.
My dad started the business in 1937 during the Depression. He saved the money he was going to use to buy his first car and used it as a down payment on a lease on a high-speed in gas station. But what he really enjoyed doing was serving hamburgers and beer to his customers.
But Herman Weber wanted more than just a diner and gas station, so he opened up a full-fledged restaurant.
It's called Weber's Supper Club back then, but it was on US 12, and it served beer and wine because there was no liquor out in this area then. So what happened around 1960, the Ann Arbor got liquor and I-94 opened. And he saw the writing on the wall that he needs to get on an exit ramp and he needs to get in a place where he can sell a cocktail.
So he moved yet again, building this place just off the Jackson exit ramp in 1962. And they have been here ever since.
Ann Arbor's a great city. We always have new people coming through. For instance, the students will come in and they will go to U of M and then go to grad school, and they may have their graduation dinner. Then they grow up, get married, and their kids come here, and then they bring their kids for graduation dinner 20 years later.
In 1970, they expanded, opening an adjoining hotel.
But we're still a restaurant first. Our first aim is to be a successful restaurant. The hotel's important, but we figure that if we can do a good job with the restaurant, the hotel will take care of itself.
Over the years, the business has passed from father to son, and now grandson is also helping to run the place.
I loved it. I've always loved it. I've enjoyed the business. As a little kid, of course, you get all the attention too, being the boss's son, but I grew up in it, and for me it was a natural to become part of this and carry it forward for the next generation.
This has really been a second home for me for my whole life. I grew up thinking everything was going to be completely different when I came back, but when I came back and I was 26 years old, it was all the same.
And one of the things that has stayed the same is their prime rib. It has been their house specialty since 1950. What are you making for us today?
What we're making today is our house specialty, which is a prime rib. And what we do is we first start off with a great piece of meat.
They season it with garlic, rosemary, and a secret blend of chef salts. And when I say secret, I mean secret. Even the owners don't know.
It's a well-guarded secret, yes.
Then they pop it in the oven for about 3 hours, depending on the size of the roast. Then it is ready to slice.
One key to the prime rib is to let it rest for a little while so the juices settle inside of it. We're going to cut it open.
Just look at that cut, nice and smooth. Now that's really important. For one, the appearance, and two, so that the au jus sits nicely on top. There are only 3 people that are allowed to cut it here.
You have to earn the right to cut prime rib in this building.
Now the prime rib is by far the most popular dish. About 1 in 3 people order it. And on an average night, they go through about 6 to 8 of these roasts. But on a Saturday night during football season, they could go through the whole rack. But while the prime rib has stayed the same over the years, the restaurant has changed to keep up with the times.
I worked all the best restaurants I could in Chicago to pick up new culinary tricks and new trends and all the hottest bars to see what they're doing in the nightlife. So I really have been trying to bring all of that back with me.
So, for a restaurant that's been around for 77 years, I had to ask, what's the secret?
The secret is having a staff that really cares and wants to do a good job, and a staff that, for the most part, want to stay with the business and also keep in touch with the customers. They tell you, they know what's going on. They'll tell you what you need to work on.
In Ann Arbor, I'm Michelle Oliver, live in the D.
Well, great job as always, Michelle. And coming up in just a few minutes, the team from Weber's Ann Arbor is here in studio. We're going to sample some of that amazing food. Could you believe that rack of prime ribs?
No, I couldn't, and I know you were sort of drooling while we were doing that.
It wasn't very attractive, was it? We got a great dessert, great salad, and a super sandwich for lunchtime.
Right.
Great place to stay if you want to make a kind of a long weekend at the Ann Arbor Art Fair. And Michelle Oliver showed us inside Weber's earlier. It's got a great sample for us here. And joining us, Michael Weber, the 3rd generation of restaurateur and innkeeper there at Weber's. Great to have you with us.
It's great to be here.
So you originally had the restaurant before you had the hotel. But what all do you have to offer? Because I've been to Weber's before, and I know you have nightlife there, and it's really a whole bunch of different things wrapped in one package.
It's a lot of fun. We like to call it a staycation at Weber's. It's Weber's Island. We have the restaurant, the hotel. We have Four Seasons pool with hot tub and sauna. There's nightlife. People have their weddings there. So really, everything you could hope in one spot.
Let's talk about the food that you got here, because we may be up against a network special report here. So let's talk about your great food that you brought us. First of all, that sandwich looks good enough to dive into.
That's fantastic. That's our famous prime rib. It's a prime rib French dip sandwich on French bread. You dip it in the au jus sauce, and it's been a hit at Weber's. Great for lunch, great for a nice snack for dinner. This is a bib salad with beets, goat cheese, and a brown derby dressing. This is our famous peach tart. We just started releasing this yesterday. Peach season is in full effect right now. An absolute fantastic dessert that we only serve a couple months out of the year at Weber's.
Is that not a work of art?
That is a work of art. So not only can you just go get some dinner, you can also go there for dessert and drinks.
Absolutely.
Time and again, we've seen some classic restaurants in this town where granddad or dad starts it, and then it just doesn't stay fresh enough, and it kind of dies out, and the clientele gets older, and it just kind of fails. How is it that you've gone through 3 generations, you've kept it so fresh, so alive, and such a happening place?
We try to have fun with it. My father and grandfather and I have a passion for the business, so we go to other restaurants, see what's good.
And the older generation isn't resistant to change.
No, my grandfather was the biggest driver for innovation. He was 100 years old, and he still wanted us to make sure he lived to be over 100, and still making sure that we were doing something new every day.
Speaks very well of your prime rib, doesn't it?
Prime rib every day.
And I feel like you draw in people of all ages.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, can I go ahead and sneak some of this peach?
Of the peach?
Yeah, I know we don't have any forks, so I'm going to have to be a little messy here, but...
I would... Oh my gosh, I just want to try a little bit of the fruit.
Oh, it's so fresh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We wait till they're perfectly ripe. That way they're pliable, and you can make that beautiful pattern out of them.
Wow. And then what is the glaze on top? I mean, it has a shine.
It's just a water and sugar mixture to get the glaze on there. Then there's an almond cream underneath, and then a homemade tart to give it a little bit of a crunch.
Well, I'm going for the almond cream underneath.
Yeah, very, very good.
Wonderful.
Now I'm going to have to go out to Weber's just to have this dessert.
Please come pay us a visit.
And you are located I-94 right by Jackson, correct?
Right off exit 172 off I-94, the Jackson Road end.
So good.
entrance.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in
You're
and sharing
welcome.
this food.
Pleasure.
Congratulations on 77 years.
Yes.
That's an incredible record.
We're going to keep it going.
All right. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thank you.